Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive. This week, I conclude my series on the worlds of Kult Divinity Lost with Elysium, our jail, our prison, the place where we were exiled when we were cast down from Metropolis. This is the world as we know it. But there's more to it than that, of course. I'll be going into that. I will also next week be taking a break on Monday videos, and it will be just my regularly scheduled Thursday video, while I decide what my next in-depth series is going to be. So, with that out of the way, I just want you all to sit back, relax, and enjoy as we talk about Elysium. The forgotten goddess senses it. As she steps into the club, she feels the thrum of our creative spark in the discordant tones from the DJ. She feels the passion that once shaped reality in the writhing and cavorting on the dance floor. Seduction. It is as much a homage to her as a offering intoned ritually on a silver platter. The prayer she gets, her flesh pressed against the cold tile of the club's bathroom, is as much a supplication as 1,000 prayers, 1,000 offerings, because it comes from one with an actual divine spark, subsumed, shoved down, locked away. And in that moment, the forgotten goddess has forced just a shred of that to emerge, to quake free, to empower and strengthen her. And that is Elysium. We live in a world where we are suppressing our nature, suppressing that divine power that deep down resides in all of us. For the lie, the illusion created by the archons and the death angels weakens us. For the last thing either of them ever wishes is for us to go back to Metropolis and retake our godhood. But there are entities that thrive on those moments where our divine spark is kindled and fanned, and the ember glows red for just a second. Just a moment of that passion, that creativity, that divinity within each of us. And we remember what we were. We remember on some level. On some level, we know things are wrong. That we are not supposed to be where we are. That creeping depression through so many people, that is not a result of trauma or of the myriad other things. That's the disconnect. That's the where we are is not where we are supposed to be. And when you look at the cities cities of our modern world, the ever-growing, ever-increasing cities, striving endlessly to connect to each other. Something you already see between Boston, New York, Chicago, DC. These cities widening, stretching out, less and less wilderness, less and less green places between them. And they rise higher. Ever new spires rising up as humanity tries endlessly, ceaselessly to recreate our home of Metropolis. For we remember Metropolis. And the city has fallen into this day and night cycle. Busy, go about doing all the stuff about creating the day-to-day, the mundanity. And then the sun sets. The night starts in the city, and our divine nature drives us to acts of passion. Whether those be violence, or mutual passion, or acts of depraved madness. That is our divine nature, our core beings driving us onward. And that is Elysium. A place where entities forgotten to us move about disguised, hiding among us, where gods we've forgotten seek offerings from us. Depending on the type of god they are, determines whether it is a beneficent offering or something more sinister. But in all cases, it is something that is a connection to our lost godhood, to that divine spark in us. But yet, beyond just the city, we have created so much more. And if the Archons could understand some of this, they would be scared, because some of it is a fragment of our lost natures beginning to assert its power again. One of these creations is the internet. Oh, on the surface, we have everything we know. You have the porn sites, you've got Wikipedia, you've got these places you search and browse. But then, below that is the so-called dark web. And once you get past the criminals, the malware, the pedophilia, the darkest, basest natures of humanity, you start reaching into an area that's different, that's distinct, that's limbo. Because as you go deeper into the dark web, you start connecting to this world of dreams, to our world of dreams. And everything gets darker, touching just the outskirts of the vortex, brushing past the realms of the dream princes, going through the various areas. That is what the dark web connects to. And thus, at its foundation, that is what the internet connects to. And could that deep connection into that primal subconscious, that primal connective unconscious between all people, be why things like memes populate the internet? Because what is a meme but a archetype? What is the difference between the one does not simply meme and a dream of flying or a dream of falling? It is the same iconography translated and changed throughout different experiences to convey different messages, but still the same symbol. Perhaps our very creation of the internet was meant to be that emergence of our spark, the creation of things on a level coming close, approaching what we once did in Metropolis. But because of this, because of the fanning of our nature, things come to Elysium. Forgotten gods seeking their homage, seeking their veneration, seeking their worship in ways more than just the ritualized offerings of a cult. Servants of the archons, servants of the death angels, coming to observe us, make sure we are still properly prisoned. But then there are other things, things of madness, things of passion that are drawn to where humanity dwells. For where humanity dwells, both those things are. And I will not talk about those things in the denizens. I'll talk about the things that are native to Elysium, but below our notice, our conscious notice. For Elysium, as a prison for gods, has its own gods. There are many gods in Elysium, drawn like moths to the pyre of our own divinity. But I will go over 3. These 3, I feel, give a good example of what sort of things live around us. What sort of things grant us favors. And what sorts of prices they ask. The first of these 3 is the god of the highways. You know those times when you're changing the dial on an old car radio while you're driving, and you think you hear a voice? Maybe if you just adjusted just enough, either up or down, you'll be able to make out that station, but you never can quite get it right. That's the whispering of the God of the highway. When you feel like someone's watching or standing at a crosswalk, but you don't quite see them, or you catch them just out of the corner of your eye at a crossroads. That's the God of the highway. Or that singing sound you'll sometimes hear on a long drive. The sound your car makes as it's droning and droning as you travel. That is the God of the highway. That's when, if you listen just right, you can hear them. You can make a deal. And those deals are simple things. Take you to any point on a road. Help you find your way into the underworld. Or offer you an artifact from Metropolis. Those are all things the God of the highways can get you. But what is the price? What does this God ask in return? It could be simple. Just driving to a certain place at a certain time. Or maybe deliver something for it. Or maybe it's drive the avatar of the god to a certain place. Or maybe it's have someone come to a specific crossroads at a specific time and stay clear afterwards. Those are things the God of the highway can ask of you. For the God of the highway is all the roads. The connection between the cities. The fiber upon which the growing new metropolis is built around. For do not traffic stops, truck stops, small towns begin to grow around off-ramps from the interstate. Flourish where two major roads meet. And that is our God of the highways. The second god I wish to talk about is the swap dealer. The swap dealer, he's rumored and spoken of in the shanty towns of India, in South America, in Africa, wherever the poor gather, wherever those of poor means build their homes from the discarded refuse of others, whether it be cardboard boxes or siding or wood to make a shanty. There are shrines with bits and baubles and pretty things offered up to the swap dealer. And if you go seeking him, you will find a primitive, crude, hand-drawn map. And this map will take you into the borderlands of the underworld, to a place where there are piles of refuse. And between these piles is a small shack, a shanty. And in this shanty, you find the bloated, putrescent bulk of the swap dealer. And what, pray tell, does the swap dealer offer? Why would you go seeking the swap dealer? Well, the swap dealer could get you $1 million in U.S. currency in a sack. He could get you a glass ampule filled with a liquid that could cure any disease. He could get you a relic from Metropolis or from Inferno, from the underworld, from anywhere. He could get just about any item for you that you can imagine. And those items do what you need them to do. But what's the ask? What's the price? Because there's always a price. And he's a swap dealer, not a giver of gifts. So what do you have to swap? Things he might ask for are a fresh human kidney wrapped in a newspaper. Or maybe 3 items, 3 specific items from your possessions. Maybe he needs you to get a specific person out in an inferno for him. Or maybe all he'll ask is an IOU for a future favor. With no stipulations as to what that future favor might be. But it will probably involve you getting something for him to trade. Because he's the swap dealer. I opened this discussion with the tale of a goddess in a club. She has a name. That name is Persephone. And she lives in the cities. Hair black as night. Lips red as blood. She is a creature of passion. She is also a god who has slept for a long time. And she has awoken once again. Maybe because the demiurge is no longer around. But she marvels at humanity. She seeks out our divinity, pushing it, prodding it, enjoying it. She will console a small child who's lost their parents and sends shivering in a stairwell. She will enjoy the company of the homeless, sitting around their garbage can fires, sharing their hooch and their syringes. But what does she ask for? And what will she do for humans? For us mere mortals? Well, she has abilities to do many things. If someone is missed enough, she can breathe life into a dead man. She can teach you the art of magic. She can take you to any of the worlds. She can help you construct a dream world, a dream realm with which to hide. She can expel haunting. But what price does she ask? What price will she ask? And that is the interesting thing. She might ask that you and your descendants aid her whenever she asks. Or maybe she'll ask you, raise this child according to her instructions. Maybe give an artist half your income for 2 years. Or give up everything and travel with her for a time. What does she ask? On the surface, nothing. But deep down are not the things she's asking for. The very essence of what we are. For raising a child to her instructions means she's shaping how a human is raised, how a human grows to think and live. You and your descendants aiding her when she asks. Isn't that giving up your autonomy? Giving up your freedom? Because she could ask for that favor today. She could ask for a favor tomorrow. She could ask for it 200 years from now. Would your great-grandchild know to help her if he had never met her? But what about the giving half your income to an artist for 2 years? Look at how much you make. Look at how much you struggle in most cases. Unless you are one of the fortunate few. We live paycheck to paycheck. Giving half that money what does that do to us? How does that stress us? And then giving up everything, abandoning your friends, your home, your possessions, to follow her for however long she asks. Her price is, unlike the others, is not something directly connected to what she can do. It's connected to what she seeks. For in all of these cases, it bestows on her a greater understanding of humanity. For each of these teaches her a lesson about human commitments between generations, wealth, child rearing, how children react to certain procedures, certain methods of rearing. And what happens when someone follows her with just absolute devotion because they have to. And that is the gods who dwell in Elysium. The other entities, the servants of the Archons, the servants of the Death Angels, they are just about ensuring we stay in our prison, that we stay in our place. The gods, they are the real denizens, the real entities living within Elysium. And with that, I end this discussion. I have very little more to add. And so, as I said, I will be taking a week off from in-depth focus videos. So, with that, I end my discussion on the worlds of Kult Divinity Lost. Until my next regularly scheduled video, I just want you all to know if you like this video, please click like and subscribe down below. The little bell icon lets you know when I've posted a new video. If you have any comments, anything you liked, anything you didn't like, please tell me what you want to hear more of down below. I'm always listening for comments. And with that, I wish you adieu, and remember to have fun and keep gaming.